Welcome back. At the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet in China's Qingdao, India stood its ground firm as it rejected Pakistan and China's agenda on the global stage, sending a stern message to India's neighbors. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the joint statement that was being presented. The reason? India wasn't satisfied with the language of the joint document that so very conveniently overlooked India's firm stand on terror and the Pahalgam terror attack. So this joint statement did not mention Pahalgam terror attack that claimed lives of 26 innocents in India. What it did not reflect India's strong position on terror. We'll play out those remarks as well by the Raksha Mantri. But while skipping the mention of Pahalgam, the document mentioned Balochistan very cleverly, tacitly trying to put the focus on India as it has been accused in the past by Pakistan of creating unrest there. Pahalgam's exclusion from the document appears to have been done at Pakistan's behest, as its all-weather ally China holds the chair as we speak. With India showing the mirror to both of these countries, hasn't the Pakistan-China tango flopped again? Because this is not the first time that India has stood up to China at the SCO. Let's go across to our guest joining us, Ashok Sajjanhar, former Indian diplomat, Professor Swaran Singh, Professor of the Center for International Politics at JNU, also joining us. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for your time. Mr. Sajjanhar, your thoughts on the Defence Minister, just dropping his pen and saying, I'm not signing this. Do you think India was alert and smart to the fact that, we're not going to allow this happen? This is not the UN where you have greater might. At least here, India will not sign such a document.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shivani. Absolutely. I think what India has demonstrated is that it walks the talk. India has very clearly stated that we have zero tolerance to terror. We have, will not be cowed under nuclear blackmail as far as terror from Pakistan is concerned. And we will, if there are terror attacks, we'll hit back. The punishment will be very severe. And if there is no mention of the cross-border terrorism, then of course India is going to push back. I think India has demonstrated that where its interests are involved, its self-interests are involved, its sovereignty and territorial integrity is involved, India will stand its ground and it is not willing to sign on the dotted line, so to say.
So I think the message is very clear. This isn't the first time that India has stood up at SCO. It has also repeatedly, 3 times, if I can remember correctly, refused to sign a joint statement. Professor Swaran Singh, when it came to the BRI, for example. But what do you make of attempt today to not include Pahalgam, not include India's right to defend its territorial integrity, instead mention Balochistan?
Clearly, I think it's a myopic focus of the host, China. And as a host, a country has to be very careful to ensure that the joint statement really comes out. And in Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which works on consensus, obviously a mischievous attempt to create a joint statement which is very biased resulted in no joint statement. So in that sense, I think it's a very strange thing that China decided not to mention the attack in Pahalgam, because originally when SCO was created in 2001, the fundamental objective of SCO was to deal with terrorism and of course energy security. And I think as a leading nation of Shanghai Cooperation Organization with secretariat in Shanghai, China has kind of deserted its leadership role that was required of China, has deserted its role as a host, and created a situation where obviously one country was bound not to sign that document. And I think other than reflecting on its myopic understanding on how to lead SCO, it also reflects a kind of unusual kind of propitiating the military junta, the military leadership in Pakistan, which is now leading the decision making in Pakistan, and mentioning Balochistan, which is not at all in discussion. Why should you bring in something which is not in discussion and create a situation where a country is not going to sign it? And it means both it's kind of impacting relation with India, but also impacting the organization itself, which obviously could not issue
we've seen, I've limited time, so I'll take 30 seconds very quickly with both of you. Ashok Sanjanahar, we've seen that some countries, and Defence Minister mentioned this, there cannot be double standards on terror, right? We cannot talk very high and mighty, but actually then ignore the terror that is convenient to us. But we're seeing a tendency, particularly from China, to hijack certain bodies like the UN Security Council and even the SCO to kind of make it toe only an agenda that suits it. Other countries have to stand up to it.
No, absolutely. You know, as far as the UNSC is concerned, there are 5 members who have a veto there. As far as SCO is concerned, you know, it is thought that this is a China-dominated organization. You would remember its genesis, 1996, 5 countries. It was the Shanghai 5, then it became the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2001, 2002 with headquarters in Beijing. So, you know, after that, it has been, it was seen as dominated both by China and Russia. So China might have thought that it will be able to steamroll the opposition of India. But India has made very clear that, you know, it is not going to be cowed down by the fact that it is a China-dominated organization, and we will
make ourselves be heard. Absolutely. Professor Singh, 30 seconds left only. What is the best strategy to deal with this China tango going forward?
I think there is no way India will have to stand strong and repeatedly burst that kind of unusual kind of relationship that China maintains with Pakistan. Fundamentally, for about a decade now, this was a concern that both India and Pakistan joining SCO could impact SCO's credentials. I think Chinese have showcased that they have not been able to manage that relationship of India and Pakistan to create discussion and documents which should not allow that impact to happen on the organization. But it will also have impact on India-China relationship
as well. All right. I'll leave it at that. Unfortunately, a truncated debate today, but I do thank you both for joining us. Time for a very short break. The right stand is coming up on the other side.